Coming up on Around San Diego, new details about the claims that led the San Diego Unified School Board to part ways with former Superintendent Lamont Jackson. And one of the victims in the pellet gun shootings in Hillcrest is struggling ever since he was shot in the eye. Our crew met with him as he received some help that he needs thanks to our fellow community members. Plus, a local school district is looking to ban cell phones throughout most of the school day. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day. I'll get you caught up on a week's worth of news and look ahead in less than 30 minutes. We begin with leadership at our largest school district. New details are coming out about what led to the termination last month of San Diego School Superintendent Lamont Jackson. The district released claims that detail sexual harassment allegations by two former employees. As CBS 8's David Godfredson reports, the complaints about Jackson began more than 14 months ago.
These staff members should have never had to experience what they experienced.
San Diego School Board Vice President Cody Pedersen is talking about sexual harassment of two former district employees allegedly committed by the former superintendent, Lamont Jackson.
None of these things will happen again under our watch, and we are now trying to figure out how they happened and how to remedy them so it doesn't happen again.
The former employees Monica Hazel and Tavga Bustani filed claims in July, alleging they were demoted after refusing Jackson's sexual advances. Eventually, they both left the district. Bustani's claim alleges Jackson made sexual advances, at one point coming to her house while she was on sick leave. Quote, while at her house, Dr. Jackson asked to have a tour of her house. When he got to Miss Bustani's bedroom, Dr. Jackson began to ask her personal questions about her relationship with her boyfriend. Hazel's claim says Jackson called her his, quote, work wife and made sexual advances, asking her to go with him to a hotel room, to his own home when his wife wasn't present, and even to Las Vegas. The school board voted to terminate Jackson at the end of last month. I knocked on Jackson's door today in Carmel Valley, but he had no comment for this report. Hazel also claims she was discriminated against by the current interim superintendent, Fabiola Bagula, back when Bagula was Jackson's deputy superintendent. Dr. Bagula ordered Miss Hazel to speak to her in, quote, baby girl voice while cowering and bowing towards her, the claim alleges. The district sent me a statement saying the allegations involving Bagula were investigated and the case is now closed.
I think we have a lot of confidence in her, and that's illustrated by the fact that we did make the decision last week to appoint her to the interim role from the acting role.
We also learned that more than 14 months ago, a group of school principals sent this letter to the school board complaining about Jackson's behavior. Peterson now confirms the school board never received the letter until just a few days ago.
I don't believe there was any intention to conceal it from the board. I just think we have procedures in place that did not channel it and ensure that the board had seen it.
The big question now is what happens next with these claims? Will there be multi-million-dollar lawsuits filed or a settlement negotiated behind the scenes? The school board is set to meet in closed session next week. David Godfredson, CBS 8.
Certainly keep you posted. David, thank you. And four men charged in a burglary and extortion racket in Logan Heights made their first court appearance this week. Jesus Cuevas, John Monreal, Christian Meduno, and Angel Rodriguez each entered not guilty pleas to charges stemming from an 18-month-long investigation. Rodriguez is accused of attacking skaters with a hammer in Chicano Park. The other defendants are accused of burglary and trying to force business owners along Logan Avenue to pay for so-called security.
These owners would refuse to do so or not agree to the program. Their owners would find that their businesses would be burglarized and vandalized continuously, time and time again.
Yeah, so bail for Cuevas and Rodriguez has been set at $500,000 each. Madunio is being held on $25,000 bail, and then Monreal was granted supervised release. His public defender says he is a manager for the ACLU. Well, the man accused in a series of pellet gun attacks in the Hillcrest neighborhood has been arrested, but victims of those crimes are still dealing with the trauma. A man who was shot in the eye right outside of Rich's nightclub back in May says he lost everything because of that shooting. CBS 8's Anna Laurel shows us what happened and how people are trying to help him get his life back.
For years, Eddie Reynoso worked at Rich's nightclub, a gathering place in the LGBTQ community. But after Eddie was shot in the eye by a pellet in a drive-by shooting, he couldn't go back to work. He quit his job. He lost his home. He says he's lost almost everything.
I was in a first-time homebuyer program in January. In April, I was talking to brokers, and now I'm living out of my car.
When I met up with Eddie last week, I was shocked to learn he was homeless and had been living out of his car for about a month.
Water, blankets. I use this to make a bed. I fold down the seats.
Eddie is a longtime advocate in the LGBTQ community. He has an LGBTQ publication. This time last year, he was delivering a handmade rainbow flag to the International LGBTQ Human Rights Conference overseas. But after he was shot by a pellet gun in a drive-by shooting in May, he could not work.
I went back and I quickly realized that I just was not able to go back. I've lost my home, I've lost friends, my credit score.
Eddie connected with San Diego's LGBTQ Community Center's crisis team.
50 just this year alone that have come through our doors and said, I have experienced some sort of hate crime. Most of them have been LGBT related, and so our staff member has been able to help those 50 folks.
Oscar Humberto Gomez with the LGBTQ Center says the center helps people like Eddie and can help with housing, therapy, and more.
There's so much that can be done.
Today, Eddie is able to stay at a friend's house until his temporary housing through the center is ready.
It's been a long 20-something days, almost a month, now that I think about it.
He says the center is helping him get 6 weeks of housing.
The San Diego Gay and Lesbian Center, I mean, they've been life-saving for me.
So now, after Eddie has tried to do so much for his community,
It's a journey.
they are helping in his comeback. Friends even created a GoFundMe just today.
I'm going to come out stronger and just more resilient.
In Hillcrest, this is Anna Laurel for CBS 8.
Wishing him well. Thank you, Anna. Well, a mother of 2 young boys killed in a car crash is still waiting after another delay in the trial of the man accused of causing it. 8-year-old Malachi Orozco Romero and his 4-year-old brother Mason were killed when prosecutors say 20-year-old Angel Salgado led police on a chase and crashed into their car near the 805 and 43rd Street exit back in December of 2023. Salgado was supposed to appear in court this past Wednesday, but his hearing was continued. We spoke with the mom of Malachi and Mason, Victoria Hayes, who says her entire world is crushed without them.
The boys were like my light in the darkness, and now that they're gone, it's been really difficult to move on and process that they're gone. You know, it's been 9 months and I still can't believe it. And only thing I want is justice for my boys because they didn't deserve what happened.
My heart. So Salgado's trial is expected to begin in January. If convicted, he could spend the rest of his life behind bars. Well, people who live in their vehicles say that after staying overnight at De Anza Cove in Mission Bay for weeks with no problems, that San Diego police are now issuing tickets. One person told us they thought it was legal following a lawsuit against the city of San Diego. A settlement allows people to park their vehicles overnight on city streets if there's no place else to go.
Ticketed every single night. We didn't have that much money to begin with to scrounge up to get these RVs and stuff. And now they're ticketing us till we lose them.
Yeah, the city and SDPD tell us the recent crackdown was spurred by complaints from the public. Now, the lead attorney in the class action lawsuit against the city tells us the settlement is pending and no one should be being ticketed right now. Well, meantime, Lakeside Union School District bans cell phones, not just during class, but also during breaks and lunchtime. The policy also gives teachers and administrators the power to confiscate phones if they decide it's necessary. The district school board president says that over the next few weeks, he's launching an informal pilot project to get feedback from schools to determine if the current policy needs any adjusting.
Parents are saying, hey, we really think that they shouldn't be out at school. Teachers think that too. So at the end of the day, how do we help them do that? And is our existing policy strong enough, or should we do more?
Yeah, maybe good for everyone. So the Lakeside Union School District plans to vote on whether to revise the existing policy at its meeting next month. Well, coming up, a report on the Latino community that's seeing a significant increase in the number of people diagnosed with Alzheimer's and dementia. Well, the San Diego Football Club has their first head coach for their inaugural season. The team dropped a video this week introducing Mikey Varas as their new head coach. Welcome. Varas has worked for U.S. Soccer and FC Dallas. He was recently the interim head coach for the U.S. men's national team. In a news release, SDFC says Varas is their, quote, ideal choice due to his leadership, desire to win, and his deep understanding of player development. The season kicks off in February of next year. Well, Oceanside is celebrating the opening of Front Wave Arena, which hosted Simone Biles and other top gymnasts in their first stop of the Gold Over America Tour just this week. CBS 8 got a look inside the $85 million arena before the athletes took the stage. The arena has a 7,500 seat capacity, which its CEO says will make it a unique and intimate venue space. It will be home to the San Diego Sockers and San Diego Clippers. We're told concerts will also make up about half of the events held there. And now, despite controversy, the San Diego Rodeo is expected to return to Petco Park for a second year. The Padres announced this on Monday, and the event will be held over 3 days from January 10th to the 12th in 2025. Top rodeo athletes will be competing for more than $800,000 in prize money, and there will be a daily after party featuring top musical acts. This comes as there is a new push to ban rodeos in San Diego after a 6-year-old horse threw his rider and crashed into a fence this past rodeo in January. The Rodeo Alliance is against any type of ban, claiming it infringes on tradition. And as we continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month, we're also highlighting issues impacting the Latino community. Among them is really a significant increase in Alzheimer's and dementia. CBS 8's Shannon Handy has more on the numbers and where Latino families can go for help.
Alzheimer's San Diego says between 2019 and 2040, the number of Latinos over 65 with dementia will grow by an estimated 196%. That's why they're so focused on educating families and providing free resources that can help.
Hace 5 años.
For 5 years, Marta Gutierrez has served as her mother's caretaker. The 98-year-old suffers from Alzheimer's, a disease that's been as difficult for Gutierrez as it has for her mom.
Porque tuve que enseñarme yo para poderla cuidar a ella.
Gutierrez says she had to educate herself on both the symptoms as well as proper care. Alzheimer's San Diego President Eugenia Welsh tells me it's a common response within the Latino community where memory loss isn't talked about as much as it should be.
There's still a lot of stigma around Alzheimer's and dementia, even though it's beyond our control. Very often it's treated like mental illness, which still has a lot of stigma around it.
Aside from the stigma, Welsh says there's also a lack of information.
Latinos are 40% less likely to speak to their physicians about cognitive decline. Very often people think that memory loss is a part of normal aging, and it's not. And then by the time they raise the issue with their physician, it's too late to be able to do anything about it.
According to the CDC, Hispanics are among the minority groups more likely to see the largest increase in Alzheimer's disease and dementia in the coming years, which is why Alzheimer's San Diego has made a concentrated effort to educate and provide resources that cater to them. That includes hiring Spanish-speaking staff, including dementia educator Nelly Hernandez.
All our services are available for free.
Who can connect families to services, everything from educational classes for caregivers to social events, memory screenings, even volunteers who will come to your home and offer assistance, all for free.
Respite program is great for somebody like Miss Martha that's feeling overwhelmed at times. To have a trained volunteer come in and really say, you know what, give yourself a break.
Gutierrez says she was surprised at how much help there is, saying all it takes is reaching out to know you're not alone.
Es muy bueno el programa de Alzheimer.
For more information on Alzheimer's San Diego and the free resources available, visit CBS8.com and click on this story. Shannon Handy, CBS 8.
Shannon, thank you. Still ahead, how one program is helping homeless veterans while also teaching high school students valuable skills. Welcome back. High school students are getting to work, helping homeless veterans while getting credits in construction classes. They are building tiny homes with help from the Warrior Village Project. CBS 8's Alex Lai took a look at their progress.
This is one of the tiny homes that's being built. This project not only helps homeless veterans, but gives high schoolers experience in construction.
All that hammering and worrying you hear in the background is students learning building trades.
Construction students put on their hard hats Wednesday and got to work.
And then right now we're framing the walls. We're framing, my group is framing the back wall. It's the first big project that we've had. We've built sheds and stuff, but it's the first really big project, like a house.
We're definitely enjoying it because it's new experiences, new methods of what we do. It's very fun.
Students from 5 San Diego County high schools are working with industry professionals to build 6 movable tiny homes.
Kitchen, bathroom, living area, heating and air conditioning, but they're smaller and they're put on trailers so they can be transported, and they're easier for students to build, less expensive to build.
Mark Pilcher is the founder of the Warrior Village Project.
I realize that here we have an affordable housing problem, and we also have a need for students to go into the trades because we need the next generation of home builders. And I said, well, it's an obvious thing to do. Let's build houses in high school construction classes and accomplish 2 goals at the same time.
4 of the tiny homes are being built for the nonprofit organization.
And when they're completed, we're offering them to nonprofits who will deploy them in the community to house the homeless, and particularly homeless veterans.
While students get experience,
It's going to show us electrical, plumbing. It's going to eventually, we're going to get into that. So it's going to give us a little bit of experience in the basics of that field.
And make a difference.
It feels like a good deed. I'm doing a good deed, I'm helping people, and it brings good karma.
For more information about the Warrior Village Project, go to CBS8.com and click on this story. Alex Lai, CBS 8.
Yeah, really a win-win for all. Good stuff, Alex. And you know it, we always do have more information on each of these stories on CBS8.com. Hope it's a great weekend for you. Even better week ahead. Padres continue to win. The sun is shining. We're all okay. Take good care of yourselves. Thank you for your time. Thank you for staying informed. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day.